each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. I almost said welcome back to the draw, which is funny because this week we're talking about a topic that I talked about in the January episodes of The Draw. If you're not familiar with The Draw is a private podcast that I put out once a month. There is a main episode where we talk about a specific topic, similar to what we talk about here on Good Movement Draws Good Movement, but maybe a little bit more specific. And then there's also a companion episode every month that comes with some grounding exercises and tangible exercises related to the topic of the month, journal prompts, downloadable PDF. Comes out the first of the month every month. If you want more information, click the link in the show notes. I would love to have you over there too. But for now, we're just going to talk about the topic that was the theme for January on The Draw. And we're doing that because it's just come up so much in conversation, in real life, in guidance calls, in the collective. And so I feel like it should also be an episode on this podcast. And that topic is the thing is not the thing. Now, I never heard that phrase until a couple of years ago. The thing is not the thing. But the concept of it, I kind of understood that. And if you're not familiar with that phrase, what it is alluding to is that the situation at hand and the responses, either from yourselves or other people, might not be directly related. The thing is not the thing. So you have this thing happen and there's response from you, from others, and it doesn't quite match what's actually happening in real time. That's because the thing is not the thing. It might have triggered this response, but it is not the full story, if you will. And why is this? Because we, a lot of times, especially in rural spaces and places, like to shove our feelings down. So something might elicit anger, sadness, frustration, etc. And we tamp it down because we need to move on to the next thing. We need to get on with the day. And we continue to do this. And when we do that, then something happens. And pretty soon we can't hold all of that in. So we have this reaction. But that thing that happened that triggered the reaction is not actually the thing that we're the most upset or worked up about. The thing is not the thing. The thing showing up is often just the handle that our nervous systems can grab onto in that moment. So the present moment trigger might be a comment, the tone of voice somebody uses, not getting a response as soon as you think you should get a response, the wrong animal going into the sort pen. But what's actually underneath all of that is accumulated stress, unspoken resentment, grief that we haven't befriended, grief that we've shoved down, feeling unseen and unsupported, exhaustion, burnout, repressed anger, etc. So what we're reacting to in the moment is often like the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's the last straw. But that's not actually the thing that we're upset about. It's all that other stuff that we haven't dealt with coming out in the moment. It's displaced. So a real life example of this from mine and Tom's relationship, the displaced anger, frustration, instruction, whatever it is. The first year that we worked on the ranch and cabbed heifers, it wasn't our first year on the ranch. It was the first year that we cabbed heifers. We had interns working with us. And if you're not familiar with how we calve, we use the Sandhills calving method, which means we don't pair out. The cows and calves stay in the pasture and we take the heavy or pregnant cows to the fresh pasture. So this particular day, we are moving heavies. And Tom is visibly frustrated because the sort is not going well. And he's kind of getting after me about it. Like, you need to be over here. You need to be over there. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what is going on? I am not in the wrong place. What is happening? So after we got all done and things settled down, maybe later that evening, I actually don't remember when it was we talked about it, but we talked about it shortly after that. And I was like, what was happening there? Like, I was not in the wrong spot. I don't like what was going on. And he was like, well, I didn't want to get after the intern. So I just was saying what I wanted to say to him, to you. And so that is a prime example of the thing is not the thing. He was frustrated with the intern and was displacing that frustration onto me, which maybe that's not a great example because it's not like he had been holding things in. It is an example of displaced anger or frustration and the thing not being the thing. But most of the time, when the thing is not the thing, it's because we have been shoving things down for too long and we can't hold it in anymore. And so this other situation happens and it triggers all of that repressed stuff and it blows up in a completely shocking and maybe in my case, ridiculous way. So recognizing that the thing is not the thing can do a few things for us, though. For one thing, we can stop shaming ourselves for feeling what we feel. We can stop personalizing other people's reactions, and we can create space between the situation at hand and the truth behind it. It's an opportunity to get curious. Like, when you have a big reaction yourself and you're like, whoa, I don't know what that was about, stop and get curious. Like, what has happened? What have I been hanging on to? What have I not been able to move through my body? What emotions are stuck? What is actually happening? What boundaries do I need to put in place, etc.? And then on the flip side, when you're on the receiving end of that displaced anger or the thing not being the thing, you can also extend grace to the person who is displacing those feelings onto you. And I'm not saying like excuse their behavior. No, that is not at all what I'm saying. You can extend grace knowing that the thing that is happening right now might not actually be the full story. And so it's another opportunity to get curious and ask yourself, what might have happened to cause this person to react in this way? And again, not excusing behavior, set the boundaries you need to set. This idea that the thing is not the thing and extending grace, that does not excuse poor behavior or them hurting you. You can 1000% set the boundaries that you need to set to protect yourself. And you can also extend grace and have empathy for that person. So the thing is not the thing. And when we can have that awareness with ourselves and with other people, it opens the door for grace and compassion and curiosity. And so instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Or why are they so mad? We can ask, what might this actually be about? What else could be going on? How can I extend grace to myself, to this other person. How can we move through so that we can feel feelings in real time and the thing can actually be the thing? Because so often it is not. Also, I feel like in this episode today and the episode I recorded for the draw earlier this month, that I say the thing is not the thing so much that it doesn't make sense. I don't know if you watch Ted Lasso or not. If you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you probably know that I really love that show. And it's like the episode where they have the two aces and Ted's like, aces, aces, aces. And the word just doesn't make sense. That's what I felt like recording this episode and the episode of the draw this month. But again, if you are interested in going a little bit deeper than what we go here in the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast with some tangible takeaways, the draw is a good place for that. It's, again, comes out once a month on the first of the month, every month. And it's an excellent resource for anyone who is ready to go deeper, but isn't quite ready for someone to sit with them in the one-on-one guidance that I offer. And with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.